Good evening. You are tuning into AWANI Tonight with me, Saraya Mia. Malaysia not out of the woods. Health Minister urges people to take booster shots. And key takeaways from Melaka state election. Major win for BN, but no time to slack. That's coming up. Starting today, those eligible for COVID-19 booster shots can register to walk in for their jabs at a nearby vaccination center of their choice. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin urged eligible groups to secure a spot on the waiting list via web portal protecthealth.com.my. He said those eligible include individuals above the age of 40, those above 18 with comorbidities, staff at senior citizen homes, pregnant women and frontliners. Those over the age of 40 not on this list are also eligible for booster shots on the 91st day onwards from the second Sinovac shot or on the 181st day onwards from the second Pfizer shot. On Protect Health's website, users are advised to key in their postcode of residence and not home address before calling the desired vaccination centers from the list of those available. Currently, the only booster shot approved for conditional use in the country is the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. The Melaka state election results is a signal for all political parties to remain on their toes and work harder to earn support from the people. Political analyst Mujibu Abdul Muiz says this lesson even applies to Barisan Nasional, who despite winning comfortably with over two-thirds majority, is not that far ahead from their rivals Pakatan Harapan.
Since we are looking at the popular vote, that they are not gaining a very good popular vote, according to our studies. BN just received only 38.3% of popular vote. And of course, when this reflected to proportional vote, it is not good. But somehow, due to the fact that we are accepting low voter turnout, it is around 63%. So if this can be turned by the general election 15, so Barisan Nasional will have a very tight fight with the Pakatan Harapan as well as the Perikatan Nasional.
Meanwhile, he said that Pakatan Harapan's loss in the Melaka election highlights a trust deficit among voters, especially towards elected reps who party hop. This, he said, underscored the need to implement recall elections or an anti-party hopping law.
One of the things that they promised to us is looking forward or to speed up the law preventing any jump or shifting camps among the YBs to be constituted or to be executed. The problem here is very clear that this frog YBs is the culprit of everything. So I believe one of this reformation that can be done, especially when Barisan Nasional has already secured the win, is this thing, because people are looking forward for this thing to be implemented due to the fact that we need this particular thing in order to prevent any shifting ships happen in the future and jeopardize the politics once again.
Now, with a low voter turnout, political analyst Mujibu Abdul Muiz said the Melaka polls demonstrate a certain level of political fatigue among the electorate. He shares his insights on what this means for the major players involved.
BN will definitely call for early general election, that's for sure. Because the mood is there and siding them. So we will not surprised to see Barisan Nasional call for an early general election. But for PN and PH, definitely PN, they are going to find for another platform, which is very clear that selling Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin as their poster boy is no longer work for PN, because PN will definitely have a mountain to climb in order to promote or to brand themselves as a can we say that a strong party to challenge Barisan Nasional or PH. While for PH, they need to find the solution especially when they talk about their base voters in terms of what we call traditional voters in Melaka, who does not siding the Pakatan Harapan, and they are really relying on the outside voters, which is did not help them in this particular time due to the fact that there are so many outside voters does not turn up for the election.
He also said with the addition of youth votes due to the Undi 18 amendment, election outcomes will be harder to predict as youth tend to not vote based on party loyalties.
We are going to receive an increment to 50% of voters, changing our voters demography from 14 million to 22 or 23 million. With these youngsters coming in, so it is very difficult for each and every parties to predict and to read the psychological and the preferences of that young voters, because you can simply see there are no baggage whatsoever. They don't have any political affiliations. They don't have the experience, to vote whatsoever. So basically, what are the things that they are going to translate in the ballot box will simply rely on their perceptions, and of course on their general reading on what's going on.
With just 1/3 of the popular vote, BN romped home with 2/3 of seats, beating back PH's 2018 gains. But it is facing a serious challenge from Bersatu in Malay-dominated rural Melaka. Tonight in Consider This, we ask our guests for the takeaways. Chinese leader Xi Jinping said his country will not seek dominance over Southeast Asia or bully its smaller neighbors amid ongoing friction over the South China Sea. Xi made the remarks during a virtual summit with ASEAN members held to mark the 30th anniversary of relations between China and the grouping.
China has repeatedly sought to overcome concerns about its rising power and influence in the region, particularly its claim to South China Sea that overlaps the claims of ASEAN members like Malaysia, Vietnam, Brunei and the Philippines. Foreign Minister Dato' Saifuddin Abdullah said that should not be an issue which could hinder the relations between China and ASEAN. Xi's remarks came days after Chinese Coast Guards fired water cannon at 2 Philippine boats delivering supplies to its marines in the contested Spratly Islands. The summit was held without a representative from Myanmar after the military government refused to allow an ASEAN envoy to meet with ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi and other arrested politicians.
We'll go for a quick break. Stay tuned.
Cuaca panas menyebabkan kelumomo, minyak dan kegatalan? Clearman 100% untuk para lelaki. Teknologi anti kelumomo 3 kali ganda. Tiada kelumomo, minyak atau kegatalan. Dingin pada kulit kepala. Clearman terbukti menewaskan kelumomo.
Hampir 2 tahun kita berdepan COVID-19. Ramai wanita dan keluarga terjejas. Saya Rina Harun, Menteri Pembangunan Wanita, Keluarga dan Masyarakat, menyeru semua wanita sertai program Wanita Bangkit Berniaga. Anjuran Richworks pada 26 hingga 28 November, anda akan dibimbing ilmu untuk bangkit membina semula perniagaan berjaya. Jom daftar sekarang di wanitabangkitberniaga.com. 100% percuma.
When the world was changing for photographic film, we helped change the world as a pioneer of the digital age. In healthcare, we're expanding what's possible with advanced technology. But why stop there when we can focus our AI and IoT expertise on business innovation, helping tackle some of the toughest challenges in the workplace? When it comes to innovating for a healthier world and a more sustainable society, we'll never stop. Fujifilm, value from innovation.
The semi-finals winners of the West and East region are through to the final. Now, who will be crowned King of Asia? The AFC Champions League final, live on Astro Supersport 4 and the Astro Go app.
The borders between Singapore and Malaysia will be reopened for quarantine-free travel from November 29th, the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic began worsening in March last year. Here is what you need to know about flying to Singapore on the VTL.
Fully vaccinated travelers will be eligible to enter Singapore without quarantine. No application is needed, and children aged 12 years and below are not required to present a proof of vaccination if they are accompanied by a VTL traveller. Travellers must be in Malaysia in the last 14 consecutive days before departure to Singapore. A COVID-19 PCR swab test must be taken within 2 days before departure. And on arrival, travellers will have to take another PCR test at Changi Airport and remain self-isolated until the test result is confirmed to be negative. Short-term visitors must hold a return ticket. He or she will also need to purchase a COVID-19 travel insurance with minimum coverage of 100,000 ringgit. The VTL between Malaysia and Singapore will start with 6 daily designated services in each direction between KLIA and Changi Airport. Additional services and other new entry and exit points may be added subsequently upon mutual agreement. On November 18th, Johor Menteri Besar Datuk Hasni Mohamad said Malaysia's land border with Singapore will reopen on November 29th as well, but only covering long-term pass holders such as those working in Singapore or in Johor Bahru. Both governments say the land borders are expected to reopen soon, with discussions now at an advanced stage.
In other news, Australia will allow foreign visa holders to enter the country from December. Prime Minister Scott Morrison said this is the latest step to restart international travel and support its economy.
Australia shut its international borders in May 2020 and allowed only restricted numbers of citizens and permanent residents to enter. The rules were relaxed in recent weeks to allow foreign family members of citizens to enter the country. From December 1st, vaccinated students, business visa holders and refugees will be allowed to enter Australia. The return of foreign students, who are worth about 35 billion Australian dollars a year to the economy, will be a major boost for the education sector. New Zealand will end a 3.5-month lockdown in the country's largest city, Auckland, early next month, as it adopts a new system of living with the virus. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has been unable to beat an outbreak of the highly infectious Delta variant, forcing her to abandon her elimination strategy and switch to a system of treating the virus as endemic. In the new system, regions will be put into a red, orange or green setting depending on their level of exposure to COVID-19 and vaccination rates.
Meanwhile, over in Europe, Austria has returned to a full national lockdown as protests against new restrictions spread across the continent, with some demonstrations turning violent.
A fresh wave of protests broke out in several European countries, including Austria, Belgium and the Netherlands. Infection rates have risen sharply on the continent. On Saturday, the World Health Organization warned that unless measures were tightened across Europe, 500,000 more deaths could be recorded by next spring. Last week, Austria became the first European country to make COVID vaccination a legal requirement. The law is due to take effect in February. Politicians in neighbouring Germany are debating similar measures as case numbers hit a record high.
Women's Tennis Association WTA said it is still concerned about the well-being of Peng Shuai. In a video call with the International Olympic Committee on Sunday, Chinese tennis star said she was safe and well at home in Beijing and wanted to have her privacy respected for now. In a statement, WTA said while it was good to see Peng Shuai in recent videos, they don't alleviate or address the WTA's concern about her well-being and ability to communicate without censorship or concern. Peng had appeared at a dinner with friends on Saturday and a children's tennis tournament in Beijing on Sunday, based on photographs and videos published by Chinese state media. The whereabouts of Peng, a former doubles world #1, became a matter of international concern nearly 3 weeks ago after she alleged that former Vice Premier Zhang Gaoli had sexually assaulted her. WTA said the 30-minute video between Peng and IOC President Thomas Bach did not change its position, which is to call for full, fair and transparent investigation without censorship into her allegation of sexual assault.
That is all we have for you on AWANI Tonight. Get the latest news updates on COVID-19 and COVID-19 vaccines from astroawani.com and Astro AWANI app. I'm Saraya Mia. We'll see you again soon.